Hi folks, and welcome to another pivotal point in our franchise. Yes, it is another trade deadline, another draft, another all-star break cometh. And we sit 52 and 33, which 52 wins is the most. One of only 3 teams with 50 wins in the league, let alone the American League, our division. We are 8-2 over our last 10. We are 18-11 against the division. Good home record, good away record. Play us in the daytime, play us in the nighttime. It does not matter. We score a good amount of runs. We do not give up any runs at all. Don't even, who is calling me? 1 second. Well, it was 10 minutes talk to my mother for me was like not even a quantifiable amount of time for you before we are back. But again, looking at what we have going on here in terms of how we're going to upgrade this team. This team looks pretty fucking good as we stand. Let's just kind of look at areas we can improve on. Well, right now, this is what the team's looking like. I think we might have broke it down a couple episodes ago, but Roman Anthony having a good season. Definitely more in line with his 2028 and definitely getting his 2029 behind us. 824 OPS. He's walking a decent amount. Already up to his walk total from last year, striking out a whole less. Basically breaking out what we thought was this year's breakout. Hopefully this carries on. Again, $23 million for the next few years. Ashton Fuqua's doing all right. Rafael Devers obviously doing Devers things. Riley Green's doing okay, but really struggling against lefties. We actually put Roman Anthony just before we started recording, see if him in the leadoff spot will help out a little bit. Riley Green being able to use that good clutch rating. Still have the good discipline. That's why we had him in the leadoff spot. So I wanted him. There's going to be a door bang in 3, 2. Oh, nope, stop. But the door may bang because I had the windows open. So excuse that if that happens unconditionally or unexpectedly. So again, not doing well against lefties, but we also want him kind of getting an RBI opportunities. That's where his contact would be good. And hit almost 40 home runs last year with barely over 80 RBI. Kind of the problem we had with Devers in the first couple of seasons. We kind of moved him down. You saw these RBI numbers soar up. Like 44 home runs, 88 RBI. Then moved him to 3 spot. He's had 100 RBI basically every season. Pete Alonso's playing first base for the time being with Tristan Casas out. He's also been helping out against lefties. He's only been playing 10 games so far. Whatever. San Rafael at second base. Christian Campbell is up mostly just because of the Casas injury. But he'll be going down back to AAA when Casas is back. That will move him back to center field, where Kevin Alcantara has been good in his time here in his last couple of games, like getting starts, a couple hits here and there. That's been nice to see from him, so that's cool. Theo Gillen still struggling but progressing. Marcelo Meyer still struggling but progressing as well. So where are we going to see upgrades? Potentially second base. Once Ceddanne Rafaela moves over to center field and we get kind of this team back on track, we still need a hole at second base. Seems like every year, second base, potentially even third base as well. We've been playing Devers at third, maybe Gillen, especially against lefties. We find a platoon or something like this, but second base, third base, some infielders we can jostle things around. I think we're gonna roll with Meyer, even if he's not hitting, he's still playing good defense, kind of the Ceddanne Rafaela role, and Ceddanne Rafaela is hitting like 285, which is crazy. So yeah, that's where we can look to improve there. Pitching-wise, I mean, there's the door. Brother, our highest ERA is Garrett Crochet at 3.54. Like, not concerned about starting pitching, even the slightest. Even if we get an injury, we have DJ Park rearing and ready to go. Conley early rearing ready to go. So pitching-wise, honestly, nothing really. Maybe an upgrade for Brian Mata, but can we get that in-house? Maybe we just bring up DJ Park to go into our bullpen and throw fucking 100,000 miles per hour. Maybe we have a guy like David Sandlin, Chris Murphy, Sam Bachman, Luis Guerrero ready to go, and most likely the route we take. So honestly, pitching isn't really much of the focus here. It's going to be the hitting. And once we get the hitting squared up, I think we'll be just fine. So again, we got the draft coming up. We got everything going, so we'll see you when we see you. Well, add first base to the list. Tristan Casas dislocated his ankle. He will be out for the remainder of the year. Now, we got this big glaring hole at first base that Pete Alonso will... Is it time? Is it John Norman debut time? Doing all right in... Here. I'm going to do something interesting. We might call up Norman. I'm going to see what's out there on the potential trade market. If we can find like an okay replacement at first base, fine by me. But if not, then John Norman might be the answer. We'll play decent defense at least. Have some power, 73 overall. These ratings will play. I'd like to get him a little more seasoning, but might be John Norman time, in which case we'll get the rare instance of gameplay here in the July episode. When you see me next, it will be following John Norman in his first week as a big leaguer or so. If not, it'll be a trade to announce, but this could be a path for John Norman to take first base off of Tristan Casas' hands. So after some deliberation and some remembering that I have a top prospect at the position, first base is going to be John Norman's for the foreseeable future. We'll see how well he does over this month. If he doesn't performing well, and again, I'd kind of want him to saturate a little bit more in AAA, but necessity is necessity. Here he is, big number 29, making his major league debut. If he's on fire, if he's killing it, we'll roll with him. I'm fine with that. Would have Costas for next year, most likely. And we obviously have Norman in case he really kills it and we want to keep him going. If not, we'll go and trade for a first baseman like we kind of mentioned, maybe looking at. There was a couple of interesting players that I thought maybe we see something like that at the end of the episode. But right now, we're rolling with our number 3 prospect, number 18 all of baseball, John Norman. He's going to make his debut in Fenway Park, in the Fenway Greens, against Tyner Bybee and the Tampa Bay Rays. In his first major league hit is going a long way. A home run for the boy. First major league home run and hit out of the way. And his first at-bat at Fenway Park goes over the Green Monster. Like, as perfect as a start to a career as you can possibly get. In Fenway, at home, day game, crowds pumped, home run, over the monster, pimped it. That's so fucking cool. So good for John Norman. So excited for him. And boom, he hits a home run. Here in the bottom of the third, can you keep the good time going? Oh, he was just below the cutter. That one should have been home run number 2, but we get hoed on that one, and John Norman still has that home run. Whatever happens, he can strike out the rest of the way. That's still such a really fun, cool moment. In the 6th inning, we actually lose the lead, and he does strike out, and now instead of being like 4-1 like we saw just before, it's now 5-4. And in the 8th inning, we do know how good he is defensively. Show out some of his defensive chops here. And he races to the bag. Xavier Isaac he's going to beat him there. Mason Montgomery really good against lefties. Up the middle and diving play by the second baseman. Throw over to first and robbed of a hit is John Norman. But Eric Brown Jr. getting down and dirty, stealing one from him. We do walk it off, though. Roman Anthony. Nope. Kevin Alcantara. Alcantara. Walk-off double. Pretty cool. Here we are in game number 2 of his. We're only going to play 2 games here. It's kind of right at draft time when we are jumping in here. And a nice little double play started by the middle infield. In the first inning, Taj Bradley. It's a nasty splitter, or a splitter left over the middle. Timed it up, but kind of just like Bryce Harper in the psych. Spoiler alert. Psych. Well, I'm going to leave that in because it's 9:42. I'm exhausted. I'm not going to record that again. Like some other player we'll see, kind of hitting, just timing it up perfectly, but just not getting the results. It is what it do be. If you're watching and you heard that, comment down below. Are you excited? Potentially. Anyway, Norman ended up having, obviously, that one big moment. Didn't really get another big moment here. He's going to be hitless the rest of the way, but what a cool moment to begin your career. Home run at Fenway. In front of the home crowd, nothing better than that. So it is draft time as always. We did do our bigger portion of who these players are and who we might be interested in. Last episode, if you did miss last episode, make sure to go check that out. We kind of really go in depth on some guys, some sleeper guys, some guys we're thinking about in each of our picks. Here's just on the board of guys we have. We have about 40-ish or more percent scouted guys who are interested. Obviously not in super order, but mostly just order in how the game ranks our draft rank. There's a couple of good non-ranked, undiscovered guys for everybody else. This is an interesting guy, Leonard Cordero. We didn't really put much into scouting him, but big power, and yeah, maybe he's there with the third pick. We try to take a swing. But a couple of guys not ranked in the pitching department. Usually it's how we go because we do discover pitching a good amount. I think that helps us really get a nice board. That could be helpful later on in the draft. A guy like Brian Hernandez, he's a super high potential guy who are going to take forever to get there. I always like throwing flyers on them late in drafts. You never know if you have a really, really good year of development. But Brian Hernandez, a guy that we're looking at as well. Other guys, some of these non-ranked pitchers, Johan Calzado, 6'5", 233 or 223 with a decent mix, and TJ Bryant, less velocity, less imposing, but again, a non-ranked pitcher. Those are some of the guys we're going to be jumping after. If you look at the top of the board and who we're really looking for, Joe Burdick, a non-ranked guy, number 1 on our board. Looks like he's going to be pretty filthy out of Jump Street. Definitely heavy consideration if no one else has figured out this guy exists. Robbie Cooley, some people do know that he exists. He throws gas, but is also injured, so keep an eye on that. And then another guy who is interesting is Sal Boyle. He looks like the number 1 player in this draft. If he falls, definitely would love to go get a catcher like this. Looks like he's going to be very, 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 very good, but comes with a $10.2 million signing bonus tag. Without further ado, let's get on to the draft. We'll see how the chips fall. Again, we are looking heavily at Joe Burdick, who he's from Venezuela. He won't be named Joe Burdick. Number 1 pick in the draft goes to Philadelphia is Fernando Mercado. He is a high school outfielder. We had him 3. They get him with the first overall pick. Number 2 overall pick is Freddie Pate. A guy that looks like he was rising on our board. We didn't put really much stock into here. And is this where the catcher goes? Caden Patel. He goes here. So far, so good for the board. We'll check in on the guys who were drafted. Fernando Mercado, the only guy we did put some sense into. Very good bats. Very fast player. Also looks like the fielding's not too great. Freddie Pate is a starter with really good velocity, high 90s, upper 90s. Has that slider that touches in the 90s and the changeup as well. He looks very intriguing, but was more like a second-round guy on a lot of people's boards. And then Caden Patel, a guy we just didn't really throw into. Your classic, good speed, high contact, 5'7" guy, Colorado guy, going to California. Jonah Gonzalez goes. Sal Boyle goes here to Milwaukee. Looks like Milwaukee has a really good player on their hands. Aaron Veach, a guy who opted out and was dropping on our board, goes to Tampa Bay. Hopefully he's more of a bust. That would be nice. Freddie Pate also, hopefully he is a bust. Looks like his potential range is high, though, as a high schooler. Mario Quiros is a guy that we had eyes on if he fell, but he looks like he got picked up. Big power from first base. I would love to add him. Randy Pack and Alex Espinoza, a couple guys we didn't really put too much effort into. Francisco goes to San Francisco. That's crazy. Francisco drafted by the San Francisco Giants. Robert Williams, shout out Boston Celtics. He goes here. He was falling on our board. Steven Bagley ends up going to Seattle. They got Detroit gets Daryl Jernigan, who was low on our board, more of a third round, fourth round, or second round, third round guy. He ends up having no pop at all in the bat, but they like the rest of everything, I guess, enough. Ken Flores, another guy in this middle range we didn't really put too much stock into. Randy McCarthy actually jumping on our board. We should have maybe put some more stock into him, but kind of glad we didn't because we wouldn't have had the opportunity to get him anyway. But McCarthy, he goes here. Austin Vargas off the board as starting pitcher. Again, we still have guys like Joe Burdick, Robbie Hooley, who are number 1 and 2 on our board. Another guy like Jason Horn as well. Hooley does go right there, so he is injured. He had a little bit higher ceiling than Joe Burdick did, but I'm kind of glad that he's gone. Don't really want to make that decision. Eddie Vargas, he goes here to the Texas Rangers. The New York Mets, you're on the clock. It is Esteban Rosa, an injured second baseman. A lot of these guys we didn't really put too much stock into. A lot of these guys we really have on our board. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys so far go. 6 guys go so far, which is really, really, really nice. Diego Oliveros, he goes here. Opted out. We weren't too high on him. He was dropping. Chet McCarthy, he goes. I don't think he's related to Randy. Riser on our board goes to Baltimore. Hopefully they didn't draft a great guy. And Sebastian Palacios maybe would have been the pick here. We do like Joe Burdick. However, in this situation, I don't want to leave things to chance. Has a good 4-pitch mix. Looks like he's going to have plus pitches. Looks like he's going to be nasty, straight out rip. I don't want to overthink this. Maybe we say, hey, you go with a guy like Jason Horn, hope that Burdick slips, but we don't pick again until 100. Maybe a guy like David Stone, who, from Japan. I don't think his name's going to be David Stone. I'd rather chance it that way. We're going to go Joe Burdick, the number 1 pick for us here at 23. As always, we will stay with the rest of the first round, see who goes, as I like to show kind of the rest of the league. Eddie Saucedo, but again, more on Burdick. Super high stamina, good Ks and walks per 9. The home runs look like it's going to be just fine. The low end of things going to be a 5 starter. High end of things could be a 2 or 3, or 2 on 1 or 2. 95 on the fastball, 12-6 slider changeup. Eddie Saucedo, Merle Mays, he goes. He was a catcher that we had an eye on here. Super high contact vision from the catcher spot. Brad McKenna goes a starting pitcher to Cleveland. Ian Sable, a guy that, maybe we had an eye on if he fell, but the Yankees pick him up early, which is nice. Arlo Slinger, he goes to shortstop. And Jason Horn still here. Again, I super doubt he lasts into pick 100. Brian Hidalgo goes. With the last pick of the first round, before we simulate to our next pick, it will be the Atlanta Braves going with Carmine Saldana, the number 2 ranked prospect. We had him dropping as well. See you with our next pick number 100, coming up right now. And unfortunately, we don't get either Stone or what's-his-face to stay with us here. We do have some guys that are interesting. I kind of like Hernandez as a third baseman with some power is projected for us to go around this spot. Maybe wait on some of these guys. So we will go Steve Hernandez, 5'10" from Cuba. Looks like he's going to have some big pop. Going to be a decent fielder at third base. You want to get our position player prospects up a little bit. So we will take Steve Hernandez with our second pick, which comes in the third round. We still got our 3 pitchers here. Manuel Andino, who I'm very interested in. You also have Matthew Duffy and TJ Bryant with Brian Hernandez. I will go Andino here, and hopefully Hernandez is there with our next pick. Hernandez does go, unfortunately, to 155 to Texas, but we will go Matt Duffy. We're going to go heavy starting pitcher draft this year, as we normally do. We're just getting the highest potential guy. And left is TJ Bryant, but definitely not least. He has a really good walks prime. This gives me Hayashi vibes. It looks like he's going to be wherever he is right now. Looks like is wherever he's going to be potential-wise. We'll see if there's anyone else that you're looking for. Alec Beal was interesting, but we're going to go with TJ Bryant and draft him. That should do it, and we'll check on how good these guys are in just a moment. All right, here's how we did with draft class, and honestly, I'm not too upset about this. We'll start with Joe Burdick, who, again, his name's going to get changed from Venezuela. There's no one named Joe Burdick from Venezuela. First round pick, we got basically the right in the middle with him, 86 potential. So we're thinking maybe mid-rotation starter for him potentially. But 4-seam fastball, changeup, 12-6 slider, Ks per 9, walks per 9, home runs per 9, in a really good spot. Could honestly be in the major leagues tomorrow if we asked him to, with a 95 stamina. But this is probably your Norihashi replacement eventually. And especially when we have guys like Drew Thorpe who are probably going to go away eventually. DJ Park coming into the rotation, the mix. Having this guy ready to go and ready to kind of fill in is imperative, and I'm glad we got it. Steve Hernandez to be 85, so a pretty good draw for him. Again, right in the middle. Good power is going to be the name of his game. 62 overall, since he still has plenty of ways to go. Plenty of time to fill out this. And already the hitting's in a really good spot. That feeling just comes up enough, and I really do enjoy this pick of Steve Hernandez. Manuel Andino ends up being an 88 potential, and actually our number 1 overall prospect in terms of these guys, just due to the potential. Velocity is a good spot. Break isn't fantastic, but will walk guys, low clutch. An interesting mix. He's only a 53 overall, a long way to go, but has interesting developments, interesting characteristics. We'll see how long it takes him to kind of get going. Matthew Duffy ends up being 83, so on the lower end of things, but still a B potential guy. Throws from the right-handed side from California. Again, a ways away, being just 19 years old. 4-seam changeup, slider, curveball, and a splitter. Interesting stats here as well. And then TJ Bryant ends up being a C potential guy at the end, but that's fine. Again, not also a 70 overall to start, so probably a AA start. Maybe this is kind of our Sean Liss of this year, we'll call it that. Decent velocity, decent break, looks like. Doesn't walk a whole bunch of guys. Has that, hey, I'm a 75 that plays up above what I actually am. So, shout TJ Bryant. Around the league, let's see. Chet McCarthy ends up being pretty decent for the Orioles. They also get Jason Horn in the second round. This is probably what would have been our first round pick if it wasn't our guy Joe Burdick. And I guess we couldn't have gone wrong either way, but Burdick being this good this early makes me feel like that was the right pick. We also got Dennis Levine here late, who looks like he's going to be really, really good. Jonathan Fields here late looks like he's going to be really, really good one day. So pretty good draft, even though they didn't even sign 2 of their guys here from Baltimore. Sable, bad. Patterson, bad. Jason Harrison, good. All right, the Yankees did all right. Veach ended up being not great, even lower than his scouted potential. Same thing with Steven Valdez. Johnny Quinn ended up being like a decent draft. You'll see these guys playing against us in the future, but not the best draft for Tampa Bay. Freddie Pate ends up being pretty good, actually, on the high end of his potential and overall scale. So good for Toronto there. Vina and Lantigua ends up being kind of in the middle ground here, with Cesar Bautista being a pretty good get for Toronto later on. For Chicago, okay. Again, just kind of seeing if there are guys who I recognize. Brad McKenna ends up being pretty good. That's about really that. Daryl Jernigan actually ends up being pretty decent. We talked about, hey, this is a big reach for them, but he ends up being pretty good. We have Marlon Donnelly as well. So corner outfield looks like it is set in Detroit once those guys get up. Rob Williams, 77 overall. We weren't really too into him, but he ends up, he was on our board. Kyle Teague, I also believe, was on the board, so I'm glad we didn't spring for him. Randy McCarthy ends up being decent, but Richard Gray, Jamison Cassidy, and Neville Spoon all don't sign, and the other guys they do sign are bad. So weird. Like, as long as you get one, I think that's a good draft. So I guess a good draft by Minnesota, but could have been better. Sebastian Palacios ended up being very not good, which is good for us because that maybe would have been their pick. He just looked way too good, and he ends up being a bust, with Bobby Horman, though, at the end, kind of making up for it for Houston. Caden Patel, okay. Patrick McFadden, okay. Estevan Hernandez, okay. An okay draft for the Angels, who seem to be always in the top of the draft. Nothing of note here for the Vegas A's. Steve Bagley, Jerry Feldman ended up being pretty decent for Seattle, with Ramon Sanchez as well, stocking up at shortstop, it seems, for them. Shortstop and pitchers. That's about everyone's draft every year. Eddie Vargas ends up being 79 potential, but 96 potential for Brian Hernandez. He ended up being the high end. I wanted him with our last pick. He went 5 picks before we went. That would have been so nice. Topping it up with an A potential, 96 potential catcher but alas, it is what it do be. Carmine Saldana ended up being not as good as we thought, or like we thought. A couple guys unsigned by Atlanta here, not the best overall after that. Not a great draft for the Marlins, even though Vargas was okay. Esteban Rosa ends up being pretty good for the Mets. They have another second base prospect to tote around. Fernando Mercado, the number 1 overall pick, ends up being just as good, if not worse, than our first pick. So I guess we win that, picking 23rd as opposed to first. But he would have been all right. Like, the bat's in a good spot. The fielding just might never be there, but has some room to grow still. So that's all right. Palacios ends up being pretty decent. Randy Pack ends up being pretty good. Enrique Batista, okay, and Kurt Hamill will be a good reliever one day. Merle Mays, not great. Good thing we didn't get over him. Kai Dell, however, ends up being really good for the Cubs, especially they need first base help. Might have been Ryan Teague that we were going after. This guy actually looks more familiar than the other Teague that we mentioned before. Right field, I think actually this is the guy we were looking at towards the end of the draft. A lot of picks Cincinnati, but nothing crazy. And again, they whipped on Eddie Saucedo. 84 to 99 potential, they said. 73 overall actual potential. That's tough. Grady Jordan, a guy we had on our board. It's going to be okay, but maybe play up, but still not great. Sal Boyle ended up being on the low end of his spectrum, but still a really good spectrum to be on. Everyone wants to be on the spectrum nowadays. Really good catcher, really good catcher. Good glove, bat's going to be just fine. Really good get for Milwaukee. Clayton Cloven as well, a guy that we had late on our board, ends up being almost an A potential. And Andres Trejo ends up being pretty good as well. Robbie Hooley, pretty darn good, but he was injured. Looks like it didn't affect him too much. Jared Tanner ends up being really good as well. So back-to-back good pitchers there. But other than that, standard Pittsburgh draft. Ken Flores, the first pick for the Cardinals, ends up being okay. And other than that, nothing more to show. Julio Tavares, a 90 overall potential relief pitcher. Ain't too shabby, but a reliever. Mario Quiroz ends up being okay. This is a guy who's like stats, like big DH hours. Stats are going to be good, but the overall never be too high. Sean Ferreira, pretty much same thing as well. Arlo Slinger, what a name. 85 potential. Dodgers just keep on doing it, man. Nothing great here for the Padres. And Francisco, drafted by the San Francisco Giants. 84 overall potential. David Stone ends up going here as well. Another one of our guys we wanted. 85. Would have liked that as well. But I think we got the better player in Manuel Dino. So let me know how we did in the draft below. Everyone else, again, really only a couple 90 potential guys. The number 1 potential guy here was the guy that we had on our board we wanted, Brian Hernandez. So will he be anything at 53 overall at already 21 years old? Who knows? He's going to be in single A for a while. But highest potential. I think our draft went really good. I'm excited to finally crack these guys open. And it might be not that long before we get Joe Burdick on the field. Be a little bit for Hernandez and then Dino. And then Bryant could be a guy that comes in the bullpen or something like that. So I love it. I hope you love it. And all right, let's get on with it. All right, here we go with the All-Star Game voting. And as you can see, we do have one representative at least. Cade Povich having an excellent season. He is going to be your starter. Hagen Smith has been excellent as well. Really can't wait to trade for him to continue the prophecy of left-handers from Chicago coming to Boston and dominating. Paul Skeens, our lone starting pitcher representative. He's been having an incredible season, but the last 10 games have been a little bit rougher. I mean, 3.43 ERA over his last 10 is crazy, not great compared to what he was doing before. Sandy Alcantara, I count this as a win for me. Should have been on our team, is what it is. Shout out Sandy Alcantara. Then Tarek Skubal. Old man Tarek Skubal, and this year it will be in Detroit, so that's a nice little homecoming here for him. Relief pitchers, Slade Shoshone is going to get in there, as well as Emmanuel Clase, Ryan Walker, our man Michael Kopech, who has 30 saves in 34 attempts. Garrett Whitlock, our boy, another win for me. Chris Bubich and Luke Little another win for Rafael Devers. Catchers are William Contreras, Moises Ballesteros, and Leland Friedenberg. Another win for me. I wanted to draft him, so I'm counting it. Rafael Devers gets in there mostly as a DH, but does get a All-Star nod again. How many is this for him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, including 7 in a row for. Look at this trophy case, looking real nice. Spoiler alert, don't look in the bottom left-hand corner. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Jose Miranda get in there as well. Second base, C.J. Abrams, Jackson Holliday, and Roberto Reina. Christian Campbell snubbed. Isaac Paredes and Braden Taylor are your third baseman. Bo Bichette, Jeremy Pena, your shortstops. Erar Encarnacion, Brent Rooker, Brian Reynolds, Cam Smith, Luis Robert Jr., Kyle Tucker, and Roman Anthony. Shout out, the Roman Empire lives on. Are your outfielders. DH, Devers, Abrams, Miranda, and Encarnacion. The National League, Logan Gilbert, Mitch Keller, Christopher Sanchez, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Shane McClanahan are your starting pitchers that made the roster. Nelson Ma. Nelson Ma gets in there as a relief pitcher. And Yohan Duran, Hunter Harvey, Ryan Helsley, Cade Smith, Tanner Scott, and Josh Hader are your closers. Keibert Ruiz, Gabby Moreno, and Sam Huff are your catchers. Shout out Sam Huff. Luis Arraez, Spencer Horwitz, and Jonah Bride at first base. Xavier Edwards and Jonathan India at second. Austin Riley and Josh Young at third. Gunnar Henderson, Nasim Nunez, and Leo DeVries at short, with Yordan Alvarez, Gary Serna Ruiz, Wyatt Langford, Jake McCarthy, James Outman, Corbin Carroll, and Ronnie Acuna Jr., your outfielders, with Alvarez, Arraez, and Bride as your DH designation. Here we are in the home run, or for the home run derby. And we got a player in it this year in Comerica Park, and I think he's all the way here on the end. I lied, he's in the beginning. Rafael Devers in the home run derby as the number 1 seed. Harry Carpenter, Gunnar Henderson, Sonny Goff, Yordan Alvarez, Spencer Horwitz, C.J. Abrams, and Zach Giloff. Probably not going to be playing with Devers, but we will definitely be following him along and seeing how well he does. So Devers does actually have the most home runs out of everybody, 19 to Horowitz, Goff, and Henderson. So Devers, can you win a home run derby? That'd be sick. Devers is in the home run derby against Gunnar Henderson, and we might play this one a little bit. We'll see how much Gunnar hits, and then we'll go in with Devers. All right, we're here in the last out of the home run derby. I think this is it. And we got 14 from Devers. 455 feet was the longest blast of the day. Absolute monster. Absolute crazy man. And yeah, we'll watch Henderson, or I'll watch Henderson, and at the end we'll kind of see if he's gonna be make this close or not. All right, here we are. 12 home runs for Henderson. Eek, that's 13. It's 2 bad swings. Did he pull that one foul? That one's foul. All right. That doesn't have enough. Oh, does it? No, we win. Theirs was the home run derby, literally at, like, by a foot, like 2 feet. Look at my boy. Look at Rafael Devers go. The GOAT. Adding to the trophy case. Picks up the home run derby championship. That was fun. That was nice. And all right, let's get into the All-Star game, shall we? So Devers, we just saw him win a home run derby. Here he is in the real life. He goes the other way, and that will be cock shoestring catch. So again, we got Rafael Devers. We got Paul Skeens to start us off with a strikeout. Michael Kopech and Roman Anthony as our All-Stars. Super duper excited about that. 1-2 count. Skeens punches out Gunnar Henderson, basically facing off against the Braves in this inning. 2 strikeouts. Gary Serna Ruiz. See ya, buddy. Thanks for playing. Hundo right by ya. 1 inning pitch for Paul Skeens. 3 strikeouts for the boy. Absolutely electric performance by Paul Skeens. Rafael Devers gets his second at bat, hitting .302 towards the break. A slow chopper, but because of the shift, able to squeak it through. And a hit for Raffy. 1 for 2 so far today. Next at bat for Devers with a runner on second base. Another slow roller, but without the shift, that's actually going to be handled. And 1 for 3. That's going to finish Devers' day. And he goes down. He is going to finish with 1 for 3. Does get a hit. Kopech picks up a big strikeout. A broken bat flare over to Isaac Paredes. And then for what could be his final batter, it's Gabby Moreno that gets grounded out to someone. What was that? That was, what's his face? Nationals, C.J. Abrams. Now Minnesota Twin, having an exceptional year. Ryan Helsley comes in and punches out Roman Anthony, and that was his only at-bat. So overall, pretty good performances for everybody except for Anthony. 1 for 3 on the day for Devers. An inning pitch for both Skeens and Kopech. Skeens had 3 Ks. Michael Kopech had 1. The National League will hold on to win the All-Star game. But also very cool. Just love seeing what we're doing. And again, love how they did the uniforms and they implemented it in the game. That is super dope. We have 4 representatives in the Futures game as well, including the starting pitcher for tonight here, a packed Comerica Park. The NL Futures and the NL Futures going at it. And who is it that we have on the bump representing us? I believe that's Ricky Springer, a third baseman in the Nationals organization. It's going to be DJ Park. Yeah, DJ Park is fucking killing it. 3.17 ERA. It was like 2.2 like a little bit ago. So having a little bit of a tough stretch. But he absolutely earned it. He is Major League ready, but just destined to die in Worcester, I guess. And he's going to face off against Elvis Cabrera. Again, we just got through the... What am I looking for? What's the term I'm looking for? We just got through the prospect video not too long ago, and we did talk about DJ Park. We didn't really get to see his actual performance because of some corrupted footage, but we do get to see performance here. Does get the first batter out. Matt Pearson, almost Boston Red Sox. If you're around the channel and watched, we know that Matt Pearson, former top prospect in the game, was offered to us for Jarren Duran before we were ready to get rid of Jarren Duran. He is still toiling in the minor leagues, but is almost Major League ready. He gets a double there. And then we strike out the number 4 hitter in the inning and pick up a big K. It's going to be a shocker to Richie Springer, who is from Richie Springer, who's able to be corralled by the first baseman. A 100-mile-per-hour fastball on Pena. Johnny Pena goes down looking. Watch this pitch. Absolute dot. Just foop. That's what you hear when it goes, and it's caught. 100. If he can locate that and really figure that out, he's going to be one of the best in the game. Lynch is going to run Drover. Already made a play earlier in the inning. He's going to make the play on Kiki Kelly, a Dodgers farmhand. And that will do it for DJ Park. So a couple strikeouts, a hit given up, but no runs in his 2 innings of work. Then we got David McCormick, who was originally actually supposed to start this game, but we made the executive decision. It makes no sense for him to and Park to not, so we're going to go with Park. Fastball on the outside edge absolutely freezes Andrew Salinas for a strikeout, and then Thomas Hillman? Hillman. I can't see. It's small. Whatever. Anyway, throw over in a clean inning for McCormick. Andreas Portillo is going to come in as we have 2 starters in the lineup. It's Edward, or 2 players in the lineup. One starter, Edward Norman, who again is has been bouncing between Double-A and Single-A, mostly in Single-A, but he is a highly rated prospect, a top 30, 40-ish player in baseball. He's going to fly out in his first Futures crack at things. In the 4th inning, you have a runner on. 2 down, and he's going to stare at a fastball. That was plenty in the zone. Not really sure what he was going for. Probably thinking breaking ball with the 1-2 count. And just guessed wrong. That happens. He's going to go chasing on the 2-seamer up high. So he's going to finish the day 0 for 3 with a couple of punch-outs. But this is the number 1 prospect in baseball he struck out to. And he is ways away. This is all potential. There are guys in different readiness levels here. Not really going to seem too much about it. Dominique Les does get the nod here, and he will ground out, and that will do it for the Futures game. So how did you feel? I thought we had a pretty cool All-Star weekend, home run derby winner, got some hits, strikeouts. We did the damn thing. We showed off the Red Sox way. So Brian Motto, we tried to pass through waivers, and he just hasn't been good. Tim Bay's going to claim him, and we're going to let him have it. So Brian Motto is now a member of the Tampa Bay Rays, and we did call up Sam Bachman just in the meantime. So I'm not going to revoke this and try to get something for Tampa Bay. We'll just let him have him. I don't think it's really worth it. It is what it is. I signed, actually did, so I'm just going to trade him to Tampa Bay for the lowest rated guy they have, and then probably cut that guy. So, all right. So not an official trade, but we are technically trading Motto over to Tampa Bay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are making a huge splash. You'll be receiving Bryce Harper from the Philadelphia Phillies in exchange for Earl Fernandez and shortstop Mikey Romero. Now, I know what you're saying. Hey, Bryce Harper, 88, 87 overall, a potential guy. You're not really giving much. It's 87, but you see, he is old. So he's 37 years old. He is declining. However, his numbers are still very good. We are also picking up $25 million for next year as well, which we'll have to kind of see what we want to do. Is he going to be a bench guy for $25 million? Should we try to offset him and offload him to somebody else? Who knows what happens with that, but I feel like we're going for a big swing, and we're getting literally a big swing. We're going to be sending Mike Romero over, a shortstop, who, if you look at the shortstop situation for Philadelphia, he's the second best shortstop right now behind Trey Turner, and Trey Turner is declining, so Mike Romero could be a starting shortstop or a shortstop option for Philadelphia. He is out of options for us. And if you look over at the starting pitching side of things, we're giving them a 23-year-old B potential, Earl Fernandez, who I thought maybe Stan Villanueva being 18 and 70 would be a little bit too steep of a price. Didn't want to give him one of our couple C potential guys here. I thought that was a little too cheap. So we are going to give up Earl Fernandez. Send him over to Philadelphia. Obviously, we just stacked up on arms in the draft. We're making this trade. Bryce Harper, welcome to Boston. We are also going to move John Norman down back to AAA. And we'll have Bryce Harper and Pete Alonso here in the on the Boston Red Sox, which seems pretty sick. All right, and finally, kind of shore up the infield is going to be Matt Chapman coming over to Boston from the San Francisco Giants. He is wearing a $25.2 million price tag, but will be a free agent at the end of the year. We'll be able to shed that. Again, one of the elite defenders position. Offers some power against righties, consistency against lefties, which we will definitely be struggling having another lefty. Is deceptively fast, even at 36 years old, is coming off of a major surgery, is only played 6-7 games, but we feel like we have the team that can add to him, and I think he's going to be a very, very nice add to us. Brandon Tuttle is going to go to San Francisco in this move. He is a 19-year-old starting pitcher, a ways away, but again, this is a 37-year-old coming off a major surgery and a pending free agent for a team that's not making the playoffs. Anything they get back is good. We're also going to sweeten the pot and get him Walker Janik, a guy who made his major league debut with us last year, is really having a tough year at the plate in AAA, but they need help catching wise. He's going to jump in there immediately, be basically their backup for them for next year. So I'm fine giving this deal to them, and yeah, we're making it work, and that's probably going to be it for the deadline for us. All right, so here will be the lineup going forward for your Boston Red Sox. Against righties, it'll be Roman Anthony in right field, Ashton Fuqua batting second and catching, Rafael Devers DHing, batting third, Riley Green, and then Bryce Harper following those guys. Absolutely crazy. Ceddanne Rafael at second base, Marcelo Meyer at short, Matt Chapman will be our third baseman with the big power at the end of the lineup, and then Kevin Alcantara also down here rounding things out. And actually, now that I think about it, I think, yeah, we'll keep Ceddanne there. I like his clutch rating. I think one of these guys gets on, and we'll keep it like this. If, again, whoever's struggling or whatever, we'll move around if need be. Against lefties, Weston Wilson plays second base, and he brings that contact and power to the top of the lineup. Rafael Devers DHing at second. Matt Chapman will bat third, playing third. Bryce Harper, Riley Green follow them. Ashton Fuqua, Roman Anthony, Ceddanne Rafael back in center field, and Marcelo Meyer rounding things out. So when we return, we will be playing this game against Houston to get Garrett Crochet back in line, but also check out our shiny new toys that we got. But here's what the rest of the way looks like. We are 68-42. We are absolutely cruising. Houston and the Kansas City Royals and San Diego and Miami. And we don't really play a great team until we got Baltimore, New York, Baltimore. This is our real big test here. Pittsburgh also not great. These guys are bubble teams / out of it. So some teams that are maybe a little bit better than the record says. But we should be able to play this game against Houston and then really see where we stand in Baltimore and New York. We're probably playing all of August next series or next episode. Then in September, we have Cleveland, who's near us. Diamondbacks, who are near us. The Yankees again. Athletics, not that great. Tampa Bay, not that great. Toronto, really not that great. And Detroit. So really, on the radar, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 series. 8 if you want to include some of the other bubble teams. 9. We got to obviously win, but we have some opportunity to really separate ourselves. Right now, our 68 wins are the most in baseball. Will we keep it up? Will we flounder? Again, this is the new look team. Anthony, Fuqua, Devers, Green. We added Bryce Harper. We added Matt Chapman. Can we do it, boys? I'm excited. Hope you're excited. We'll see you next time here on Tisbury 33 Games.